Meghan Markle's recent visit to Canada for the Invictus Games has been marred by controversy, with reports emerging that Canadian authorities declined her requests for private security and a five-star hotel lodge. This alleged snub has ignited a firestorm of debate, raising questions about the Duchess of Sussex's expectations, the financial burden placed on host nations, and the delicate balance between royal privilege and public responsibility. Has Meghan's perceived sense of entitlement overstepped the bounds of reasonable accommodation, or is this simply a matter of security concerns being misconstrued? The reports, citing unnamed sources within the Canadian government, suggest that Markle's team made several requests ahead of her arrival, including a dedicated security detail separate from the standard arrangements provided to visiting dignitaries. Furthermore, it's claimed that the Duchess's team expressed a preference for a specific five-star hotel, exceeding the accommodations typically offered to attendees of the Invictus Games. These requests, according to the sources, were met with resistance from Canadian officials, who cited budgetary constraints and the adequacy of existing security protocols. This alleged rejection has fueled criticism of Markle, with some accusing her of being out of touch with the realities faced by ordinary Canadians. In a time of economic uncertainty, the perception of a royal demanding special treatment, particularly when it involves significant public expense, has struck a nerve with some. Critics argue that Markle, having stepped down from her senior royal duties, should no longer expect the same level of preferential treatment afforded to working members of the royal family. The optics of requesting lavish accommodations and bespoke security while attending an event celebrating wounded veterans, many of whom have made significant sacrifices, has been particularly damaging. The controversy also raises broader questions about the financial implications of hosting royal visits. While the economic benefits of such events are often touted, the costs associated with security, accommodation, and logistics can be substantial. In a democratic society, there is a legitimate debate to be had about whether these expenditures are justified, especially when they involve individuals who are no longer actively representing the monarchy. The Canadian government's reported refusal to grant Markle's requests could be interpreted as a signal that host nations are becoming more discerning about the level of support they are willing to provide to non-working royals. Adding fuel to the fire is the perception that Markle and her husband, Prince Harry, have sought to distance themselves from the royal family while still enjoying certain privileges associated with their former roles. Their move to California, their independent ventures, and their highly publicized interviews detailing their grievances with the royal institution have led some to question their entitlement to continued royal perks. The notion that Markle would expect special treatment from Canadian authorities, while simultaneously maintaining a degree of independence from the monarchy, has been met with skepticism and even resentment in some quarters. However, it's also important to consider the security concerns that may have motivated Markle's requests. As a high-profile figure, she is undoubtedly a target for media attention and, potentially, security threats. While Canadian authorities may have deemed their existing security arrangements sufficient, it's understandable that Markle and her team would prioritize her safety. The line between reasonable security precautions and excessive demands is often blurred, and it's possible that Markle's requests, while perceived as extravagant by some, were simply aimed at ensuring her well-being. Furthermore, the specific details of Markle's requests remain shrouded in some mystery. The reports citing unnamed sources offer a particular narrative, but Markle's representatives have not publicly commented on the matter. It's possible that the requests were mischaracterized or that the negotiations with Canadian authorities were more nuanced than has been portrayed. Without a full and transparent account of the events, it's difficult to draw definitive conclusions about the appropriateness of Markle's actions. The controversy surrounding Markle's visit to Canada underscores the ongoing challenges faced by the royal family in navigating the changing landscape of public opinion. In an era of increasing scrutiny and heightened awareness of social and economic inequalities, the perception of privilege and entitlement can be deeply damaging. Whether Markle's requests were justified or not, the negative publicity surrounding her visit serves as a reminder that even former royals are subject to public judgment and that their actions can have significant reputational consequences. The Invictus Games, meant to celebrate the resilience and courage of wounded veterans, should not be overshadowed by controversies surrounding the attendance of its patrons.